Good morning, everyone. My name is Ann Winkle, and this is my Module 1 presentation to introduce myself and to talk about various forms of communication. Let's begin. Here's a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Glen Alder, Kansas, a small town in north central Kansas. I have 5 people in my immediate family. My dad owns and operates Winco Manufacturing, and they sell livestock equipment in Glen Alder. My mom is the vice president of Farmway Credit Union, which is in Beloit. My older brother, who is pictured right here, he works for NASA in Langley, Virginia. And then my younger sister is a pharmacist in the Kansas City area at a Hy-Vee. I graduated from Beloit High in 2009. Then I went to Wichita State and got a secondary math degree in 2013. And then now I am working on my education administration master's degree from Fort Hays and hope to be done in December 2022. A little bit about my professional life. I have been a math teacher my entire professional career. I taught at Truesdale Middle School for 5 years in Wichita. Then I went to Heights High School for 3 years. And then this summer I moved to Frisco, Texas, and I now teach at Nelson Middle School. And this is my 9th year now, and I hope to be a middle school or high school principal or assistant principal somewhere in the future. Other things, I do have a coaching career, which I have put on hold until I get this master's degree. I've coached anything from volleyball, girls basketball, track, and I also did high school. And then some of my favorite activities are like walking, being outside, playing the piano, tutoring and helping kids with math, whether it's just random people or friends, children and such. And then I'm trying to make time to discover this new city and new state that I live in. My goals, I hope to manage my time between teaching school and being in grad school and then having a personal life, and then learn the ways of teaching in a new school in a new state. Definitely been, finally, I feel like I'm above water on that situation. And then long term, I hope to get this master's degree in educational administration. I will do that. Learn and become confident in an admin role while completing my practicum hours. I hope to get an admin job and then start a family. Now let's talk about various forms of communication. So the ways that I use right now in order to communicate with a variety of stakeholders and community members and such, for me as an educator, that's mainly parents and students and community. So in-person communication is a big one. We have Meet the Teacher night. Sometimes I meet some parents at athletic events or band concerts. And this is a new district, so this is in perspective of my new school. Very different than my old district. And then I use on the phone calling communication for specific student situations, good and bad. Email is a huge one. Weekly emails I send out to give overviews of what's going on the next week, important information, upcoming tests. And then sometimes I email specific students and parents about situations. And then a lot of times I use email with kids to talk about assignments. And I really do appreciate that. And I enjoy having that email communication that I didn't have in the beginning years of my teaching and able to help them via email overnight and so on and so forth. Twitter I use to post pictures for parents, community members, and other district personnel. I don't use that too often, something I just have to be thinking about. So I do use Twitter. We use Canvas at my new school, which I'm very new to, still learning a lot on that. It's kind of like Blackboard. It's where you post all weekly class information, tests, quiz dates, links to Google Slides of what I'm teaching. And parents can see it as well. So that's a huge form of communication with students and parents. And those are the forms that I use currently. Order from least to most used. Twitter, taking pictures. I just forget in the moment sometimes. That's usually probably the least. I need to do that more, especially in the world we live in now where it's all about posting things on Twitter and Instagram and such. In person is probably the next most used. And then phone calls. I made a typo. Canvas, and then that last one is meant to be email. I'm sorry. Email is my most used form of communication. Tools provided versus the ones I purchased. Everything that I've ever used as a teacher, and I really stopped and thought about this, they've all been provided and they've all been free. Twitter, Canvas, email, phone, in person, obviously. In the past, I used the Remind app. Those are all free tools. I can't think of any that I've purchased or even ones that other people have purchased. Mostly everything for educators is free, which is great. So that's the difference between provided and the things I purchased. Wish list. My new school district does not do parent teacher conferences. Um, I miss that tool of communication. It's a chance to talk about little things like that I don't think are enough to call about, and even chance to talk about the positives because I know that we're supposed to do more positives, but it's just sometimes hard to get to. And then it gives us a chance to meet everyone face to face because not everyone comes to meet the teacher night. And then I wish that we had video conference. Last year we did that with COVID. We don't do that. And it was only optional. It's just another way instead of calling over the phone because sometimes people can misunderstand what you're saying. If they could see your face, it would be different. It'd be a quick way and in case they can't come to parent teacher conferences. And like I said, no misunderstandings. Now let's talk about the impact of the research and it had on my professional introduction. I never knew there was so much thought and research behind this topic. It really surprised me. And if I want to make a lasting impression on parents and students, I think it needs to also be the focus of making an impression on students. I need to change up things with my introduction. Parents would deal with so many educators in their students' lives, their children's lives, and even students have so many teachers and educators. I want to make it that lasting impression. I want to be that one that they remember and that they always know they can reach out to. It definitely has me reflecting on who I am actually as an educator and who I want to be and the problems that only I can solve and my why. This really had me reflecting on those things. Methods I plan to use that I learned from the research when I introduce myself as a building leader. I want to go beyond the title, start with the impact, my impact on the educational world, use problems that only I can solve and the ones I exist to solve. I need to talk to my friends and coworkers to get a little bit of help with this because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing. Other people see it more than we do. Show vulnerability and passion. Use words like, I'm dedicated for this. This excites me. This is my passion. This is my calling. That's showing it and leaving a lasting impression. Start with my why. If you've ever seen the TED Talk by Michael Jr., it says like, no, if you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. And that's, I feel like what some of the research was saying is that you have to know your why and tell people what your why is first. And then I plan to use my administrative team to get feedback on my introduction and always be improving on it. Strategies that my district uses for communicating effectively, I use. We have to do, and again, this is a new school, so some things I don't know if it's a school policy or district policy, but it's all the same to me. We have to do weekly emails. We have to do meet the teacher night. We have to communicate about grades if they're failing. Things on Canvas we're required to do. So yes, I do use the district's strategic policy and the school's strategic policy for communicating. Why do I do it? Because it's required. Parents deserve to be in the know, and it saves time for me on the front end. If I tell the parents things ahead of time, they're not emailing me and I'm not answering the same email 10 times. And it allows parents to help me with their child's success. So this is my correlation statement. I'll give you a second to read that. This is my relevancy statement and how this was very relevant to me. And this is my reflection. Quick note, I believe, or the article about how the doctor's introduction really, that stuck with me and moved me because I realized that I'm impacting people's lives just like doctors are, and I need to work on my introduction so that people take me seriously. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.